Okay, hey guys, it's it's Tomi here on the Five Eyes channel, and today we're going to be talking about how Black people need to really not celebrate this possible presidential win for Joe Biden. I don't know what's going on. Donald Trump is trying to challenge things, and there's a whole bunch of rumors here and there. But either way, looks like Joe Biden's going to be president. If you hear any sounds in the background, that's just because there's being work done in the house and everything. So that's why I'm here in my brother's closet. Not because I'm broke, even though I am. Anyways, Joe Biden's probably won the presidency. Black people, just because Donald Trump was an outwardly bad president, even though he did pretty much a mediocre average job, he didn't really do too bad, too much worse. You know, not as bad as Bush. Bush fucked everything up. But, yeah, I mean, I get why you're pretty excited. He was a loudmouth. But, I mean, honestly, what's the difference between Donald Trump and niggas at the barbershop? Let's be real. Black people don't really like to look at themselves because, honestly, a lot of black people act like Donald Trump. Loud, abrasive, wrong, and just do not want to take no for an answer. Either way, I digress. We have a lot on our plate right now. As I've said before, the economy of the world is in shambles. There's a lot of countries that are just in shambles from this lockdown, but not just from this lockdown. There's, our banking system all over the world is very old, decrepit, and very, very corrupt. These people commit a lot of crimes, and we've had guns and drugs literally forced down our throats in a lot of areas, and then we get blamed for it, whether it's the hood in America, the favelas in Brazil, and a lot of the places, as you're seeing with like SARS, for example, and the police brutality over there. It's kind of ironic, right? Everyone was up in, it's funny. There were protests all over the world. Black Lives Matter for white people killing white cops killing black people. Then when SARS happens, there's not protests all over the world. I guess probably because it's happening in a white cop killing a black man in America. You figure, why would you do that? SARS, Nigeria, they're like, oh, they're Africans. Africans just doing that to Africans. So it's kind of ironic. There's that pedestaling. White people, you guys should be doing better because you are rule the world. So, there's that sense or whatever. But yeah, there's that. The economy here in America is not doing too well. Most of the businesses that you know and love are probably going to disappear by next year, which means a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs. It's going to be a lot of suicide. It's going to be a lot of starvation. Millions of people are unemployed right now, probably up to 50%. They don't want to let you know. Inflation is not 2%. It's probably anywhere from 10 to 22% yearly on your money. And there's a lot of kids out there who are very food insecure, a lot of families that can't afford anything. Black people, there's a lot of black people doing bad. For some reason, we're at the point where we like to ignore how bad we're doing, and now we're really acting like we aren't in a really, really precarious situation, in a precarious place with what we're going through right now. And, we can take that how it is. But the meat of the thing I wanted to get to, because this is a Silver Pill podcast, is injecting the Silver Pill. And this is what we need to know. When the Great Reset happens, things like real estate and businesses and the supply of a lot of stock and everything is going to be really cheap because, there's going to be a surplus of things happening and people are going to need the money. A lot of black people are not going to be able to get involved in real estate. They're not going to be able to fund money into ventures and also start businesses and stuff because most of us just don't have the capital for that. Even if we got $20K, the best we can do is get a house for most of us. That's why it's great to get into silver, gold, and Bitcoin. Why? Well, for silver, it's pretty much the most accessible precious metal you can get into, and because it's so undervalued, that even though you're supposed to hedge it, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Even though you're supposed to hedge it, it's still cheap to the point where if you get in now, you could make some good profits in the future. Gold, not so much. You could make a profit if you bought like an ounce, but it wouldn't be as much if you bought the same amount of silver. But at the same time, your gold amount is going to be worth what it's worth, and in the future, inflation is not going to destroy it like the dollar. It's going to still be worth 1,900 or 2,000 or whatever it is in the future. So your money effectively stays stable. And Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the most liquid out of both of these, it's the best performing asset ever. It's going to be the best performing asset ever because it's not even halfway done performing. And along with Ethereum, Chainlink, Polkadot, Cardano, a lot of the top 25 to 100 coins are going to be doing really well in the future. And since it's mostly all digital, it's easily accessible. Most of us are able to get a phone and are able to get Bitcoin, whatever. I'm going to start off with silver because I've talked about Bitcoin a lot, but I haven't really gotten into the precious metals as much as I have. And the one I have the most experience with is silver. Now, why do I have most experience with silver? Because gold is a bit expensive, and also I don't like looking at small fractions of gold, but I digress. But gold is a bit expensive, and gold, well, as I said, it will hedge your money well. But the reason I like silver is because, one, yes, it will hedge my money. That's like one of the best things. Because if I get my 25 ounces, whatever it should be around, even if it's like 17, in the future, it's going to hold its value over the dollar much better. Because the dollar has lost 90% of its value. Silver has actually gone up in value since we started really counting it monetarily, And it's undervalued right now, even at $25.71. A lot of people are saying it could reach up to $100 an ounce plus. And I'm actually up since I've gotten a lot of my silver under $25. But at the same time, it has that factor of being able to increase in its nominal price. Not only just to hold, but to also, it's like a double whammy. And versus gold, I think it's just going to perform better. It is something that a lot of black people can get into. It's also a great savings. Because when you save silver, you can't just be like, okay, I'm going to just take my ounce of silver and just get some ice cream and this and that. A dollar savings is really easy to take out of it and spend it and to waste it. When you have a hard savings like this, it's hard. It's not as liquid as a dollar. So you really keep your money and you really hold it. And, some pieces, I would definitely suggest you get Silver Eagles. Because these are probably the most liquid kind of silver you can get. I got about a couple of them. So when you ever really need to sell, you can basically sell this to anyone, And then this is more so like some custom silver. It's something you like to have because this is something I just like it. I may melt it down. I'll do something whatever with it. So this is the kind of silver you can do whatever with. Maybe not everyone's gonna take it, but there are some people that might take it. Maybe people who like Ripple, collectors, what have you. And then you've got silver like this. This is from the British Royal Mint. It's kind of like the Silver Eagle. If you get basically the country minted coins for the most part, you can sell those basically mostly anywhere when you need to. Perth Mint, Royal Mint, U.S. Mint. But this is also the kind of silver that's like a collectible too. It's in a series and stuff. So it's a bit more costlier, but because it's, collectible status, basically you can sell it for a bit more too. So it has like a oomph. It has a booster ability a bit to it. So there's different kinds of silver to get. And I won't get too much into that because I still have a lot to research. But, I'm young. I don't make a lot of money. I'm kind of above minimum wage in Florida by a couple of dollars. But I've already saved up a couple $100 with this. It's really easy. I get it. I have it. And, it's pretty to look at. So it makes saving more fun because it's like, ooh, look how shiny it is. But it's something most black people can get into because, all it takes is a couple $100. $1,000. The average black person does have the ability to save them up at least a stack of 20 to 40 ounces of silver. And the reason it's so important, I'm not saying saving silver, saving precious metals is going to basically save you and make you invincible. But it's getting you in the proper mind state to be able to survive in a land of economic disparity and chaos. Because collecting precious metals, when you get precious metals, it requires discipline from you. It also requires you to really understand what money is, what money is for, and what money does for you. Because our currency is not money. And our currency is at the point where people only work to spend it. With silver makes you think of a legacy. When you get silver, you don't get it with the intention of spending it. You get it with the intention of having your money stored safely for your future. Maybe it's for your kids. Maybe it's for something you plan to buy that can improve yourself. I follow a person named an uneducated economist, and I think he said he bought a car for silver. things like that. Silver, there's a reason why people have been using this stuff for ages, because it is a valuable resource that does make transacting things easier, and it also does make holding your wealth easier. It takes a lot of time to get silver out. And the thing about silver is it's used in all of our electronics. I wouldn't be able to talk to you today without silver. We wouldn't even get to this point. We wouldn't get to the point of computers, microchips, processors without silver. A little gold goes into that, mostly silver. Silver is essentially humanity. It is man's best friend. Man, more than gold. That's why gold is more so of a hedge. It's really pretty in its content. It's really heavy. So gold is definitely something for the hedge, but silver is for our entire future. And when black people really understand that, we stop looking at the government to save us, like Joe Biden. Because that's the issue with a lot of us. We focus so hard on Trump that we don't focus on ourselves. When you get silver, you really do have to focus on yourself. Because when you get it, it's not something you just go into the Walmart and you spend and give it away. It's not something, because it's solid and you hold it, you really want, you keep it. You feel like it's yours because it's truly yours. There is that sense of ownership. A bill collector can't just axe your account and take out whatever's left in your account from it. Like, even if you have bad credit, well, I'm saving my money. F my credit, because I'm not saying get bad credit, but I'm saying, because you got the money. It puts into perspective of what actual money, what real life money, what real life is. It helps you with that. It's part of the silver pilling. And when the world gets to the point where everything reverses and we have a lot of this chaos going on, you have the proper individualism you need to financially help yourself through this. Because a lot of people are sheeple. When they see Joe Biden, they think hope. They think, thank God there's no Trump. But what do you do after that? They wait for the government. They're waiting for the stimulus check. They're waiting for the stimulus handout. Maybe that comes, maybe it doesn't. But what if it doesn't? What are you going to do? These people are not thinking about their futures. They're not thinking about their children. They're not thinking about their family. They think they are, but no. Just because you care, that's not enough. You guys need to have plans. You guys need to have action. You guys need to realize what's real, what's not. This is real money. Dollars not real money. Most people cannot see the difference. Most people cannot see the truth. And this is just like a layman's terms of this video is more so the spiritual importance of obtaining silver and precious metals, whatever have you. You can go get you some copper, get you some palladium. It's the fact that these things have actual use case. Whether it's for you or a company or anything like that. When you get these metals, you're supporting that ecosystem, which essentially helps the world run. And that's just the truth of things. Black people cannot look at Biden as like this kind of savior, because he's not. He is still a president. The Federal Reserve, he works under the Federal Reserve. He does what they say, whether you like it or not, whether he likes it or not. He's going to do what they say. And when you have yourself some precious metals, some good assets, you are participating in the real economy of the world, the real economy of humanity. Not this fabricated stuff with these banks that we have and all this interest and credit. No, you're opting out of that. Even though I do have some credit myself, but I ain't going to spend and paid off Bitcoin to be out of it completely. But when we have these things, when we have these assets, it's good to have some cash, because just cash is what it is now. Even if it turns digital, what have you, cash is king. That's whatever. It's easy to pay bills with. It's very easy to pay and transact. Hey, can't knock that. That's what cash is for. Cash is purely for spending. That's what it's for. But this is untouchable. Okay? A tax collector can't take this from me. My bank can't take this from me. My government can try, but that's unconstitutional. Not dare them. Just kidding. Don't destroy me. This is mine. This is my money. This is my wealth, my value right here. I'm holding my wealth for me. And it's my responsibility only. they can't just take $5 a month out of it or anything like that. They can't take an ounce from me a month when I haven't paid anything. That's why it's so important. Black people don't really have we own so little things that aren't like superficial, like when it comes like a TV or a computer or a phone or a PlayStation. We own so little things that are assets that it's hard for us to fathom us really being on our own and relying on ourselves. We rely on the government. We rely on the entertainment industry. We rely on sports. On schools. We rely on everybody else but ourselves because as a whole, our community is unreliable because our community is unproductive. We don't produce much, so we don't really understand the whole appeal of assets. But trust me, this is one of the best decisions I made in my life. When I started saving, putting my wealth into Bitcoin and precious metals, I've gotten to the point where I've saved more than I ever have. And I think about it like this. I'm almost at the point where I can make a down payment on a house. And the thing is that with the way I'm set up, my wealth is going to skyrocket. So now I've put myself in position to almost have a down payment just working when everything shoots up, mostly due to Bitcoin, but watch more videos about that. Now I will be in a position where I'll be able to easily get the house, maybe one day possibly just get it outright. Either way, it was much better than just buying things for the purpose of spending and not for the purpose of increasing my wealth or maintaining my wealth. We have to get this in our heads because Joe is not going to do this for us. He is not going to tell us this. If Joe was a real hard body and he did say the Fed is at fault for this and we need to handle them, then maybe I'll change my tune. But Joe Biden is not going to do that. So if you guys focus too much on celebrating and focus too much on him being president and Trump being out, you're going to do even worse under him than you are with Trump. Because it's like, okay, Trump's out of office, but why? Are you asking the question of what's going on with the economy? Are you asking the question of why is the stock market being manipulated? Are you asking the question of why aren't obtaining precious metals, why aren't obtaining assets in general not pushed in schools? Are you not asking why our education system is literally the worst in the world among every freaking level, whether it's college, middle school, pre-K, Pornhub Academy, all those things? Are you asking those questions? Because I know most black people aren't. It's just, if anything, I have not heard most of the black people I know asking questions are the ones who are skeptical of government in the first place and the ones who are independents, don't like to take sides. Heck, even someone who didn't vote. Okay? It seems like when it comes to the Democratic Party, black people stop asking questions. We will ask Trump everything in the world. Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Why can't you do this? But then when it's Joe Biden's turn, it's like, I can't wait for you to do this. I can't wait for you to do that. It's like, what do you really expect out of Joe Biden? That's the thing. We expect so much out of other people. We don't expect much out of ourselves because we're an unproductive class of people in general. It's not enough of us being productive to really raise most of us up. And I used to dream about, I'm from Jacksonville. I used to dream about opening schools in Jacksonville and rebuying up the block and building things over. But I've kind of understood that even if I did those things, would the people there really appreciate it? And are they even in a position to maintain this stuff? Because if they're not, I would. And I know I wouldn't be able to have the resources to basically have that there. And even then, I would have to make the decision of getting all the highly unproductive people, like, the hood rats, Keisha, thugs, and all that, out of those places, which is a very tall task because black people don't like policing, even though we need a lot of policing in a lot of areas. So the best thing for black people to do now is practice individualism and make ourselves and our own families better. And it will have a concasting. Man, I know it's a word and I can't think of it. It will have a successive effect towards the other black family. They're doing good and I'm doing good and we work together. We all do good in this bubble and it spreads throughout everyone else. So that's why it's good for us to collect these precious metals and everything, because most of us can't afford to. And if most of us start practicing that kind of financial literacy, it will, heck, it will increase your intelligence. I'm telling you now, it will. It would also increase your financial awareness and thus your socio-economic awareness, and then you'll make better choices. You'll stop spending your money on BS. As soon as I got into this stuff, all through college, I could have been a millionaire right now, because if I understood this, I would have been able to buy silver after its huge dip when it was like $11, $10, $12 an ounce after a dip from 50. I would have been able to buy Bitcoin when it was a couple dollars and when it was a couple hundred and like $1,000 or so dollars. Ethereum, all that, even gold. I would have been able to buy gold for less than $1,000. But I was too focused on buying Jordans and looking good for the girls at school. I'm a big example of that. And that's why I'm so adamant about that, because I was like that. I was unproductive. I produced nothing and I gave nothing to the world, and thus I gave nothing to myself. But now that I am saving the silver, I am supporting that kind of monetary economy from buying from silver dealers who in turn from buy from people who process silver. It helps with their stocks and people who buy the stocks. And when all that goes well, then we can get the silver out to the products that we need to get them out to, like our microphones and our computers and everything else, the things that make our world go around. That's how that ecosystem works. So I'm helping make the place, I'm doing my part in making the world better when I support the silver economy, when I support the Bitcoin economy, and eventually when I support gold and everything. And when I do better for myself, I do better for my kids who have yet to be here, but that's my next generation. I further improve the generation, and when I have my wealth maintained, I'm starting them off with wealth. They will start off life with wealth. A lot of Black people do not start off with any kind of wealth at all. We always have to build our own wealth, and that gets extremely tiring because there are so many obstacles towards us from ourselves at the start. We literally start with our heads in the ground. I want to start with our heads in the clouds, and that's what I'm going to do. If I make my generation, my successor generation better, and they do their part, then who knows who they can touch. We have to think like that. We have to stop thinking, again, we have to stop thinking about what other people can do for us, because this government has just shown they'll do something every now and then for us, especially when we get into proper positions. But for the most part, this is not our government. This is not our land, and the people in power are really not our people. We have ourselves. We have to improve ourselves. That's the thing. That's why a lot of the other races that come here, Asians, Europeans, Hispanics, Latinos, all of them, they understand this. This is why Latino Americans are they've been able to increase their numbers, and eventually they will match white Americans in terms of populace size. And there's a reason why these people come over here way less, if not just as much as us, and they still out-earn us. They're at the point where socioeconomically Latinos are doing better than us, and Asian Americans are socioeconomically doing better than white Americans, even though they are a very small portion of the population, because they know how to work in tandem with themselves, even if they don't like themselves, and even if they don't work like from a pure financial standpoint. They give each other knowledge. They teach each other game. They associate themselves with each other. They build families, and they stay with each other and stay together. And you can go back to Latinos. Even though the Latinos also have a lot of the same issues we do, comment almost similarly, because when it comes to crime, it's blacks, Latinos, or Latinos and blacks, and things like that. They still understand the concept of family values, coming together, and saving. So if we really want to do better for ourselves, we can't look at Joe for that, and we can't even look at God for that. Well, we can't rely on God, of course, but we have to look inside ourselves and at ourselves. To the guys that are doing our community wrong, like the motherfuckers that shot King Von, and I'm gonna make a video about that. To those kind of people, get them out. Get them out. We don't need to associate with those people. We don't need to associate with that music. All that kind of stuff. We need to associate with things like this. And you can say, man, what silver's worth or anything like that. I won't have to explain it to you. The thing jumped up like $1 this month. And throughout this year, I remember at the beginning of the year, I was buying silver at like $17 an ounce. I bought a couple ounces for that. I'm probably up like $30 to $50 on my silver right now. And I've got a good amount of ounces. I'm just only going to get more and more. So, it's all on us. We can be happy about Joe Biden being president, but if we don't help ourselves, the heck, we might as well be Donald Trump in our own households. And that's all I got to say. See you guys later.